Well, always a pleasure to catch up with my next guest. Megan Evans is the executive director of the Alberta Invasive Species Center. And Megan, we decided that we needed to chat a little bit. Your organization, and in particular, you are sitting on a task force with the province when it comes to invasive species, and I guess specifically surrounding zebra and quagga mussels coming, well, hopefully not coming into Alberta.
That's right. Yeah. So we were excited to hear the announcement of the development of a task force because we know that the threat of the introduction of many of these aquatic invasive species like zebra and quagga mussels, really is growing, Michael, because they're growing and we're seeing more and more introductions in other parts of North America. There was new introductions of zebra mussels in Idaho and in Manitoba this past year. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done.
So, and already, I mean, right off the top, there's already been an interception of two boats, I believe, that had zebra mussels in them. So, the threat, even we're not even, well, we're just getting into summer, really,
Yeah.
and it's kind of scary that we're already seeing this happen.
Absolutely. So I think it speaks to the need, really for more inspection stations, for more education and awareness surrounding those inspection stations, because it's really good that those boaters was stopped at the inspection stations, which is a legal requirement, of course, and that we caught those mussels. But we know that we don't have boat inspection stations everywhere, and that there's some non-compliance as well, which is a major issue. And interestingly, there was a case in Montana just about a month ago where a motorist drove by a boat inspection station towing a sea-doo or something, and he got pulled over by Fish and Wildlife, found live zebra mussels, sent him back to the boat inspection station, decontaminated and quarantined the boat. So I think we've got work to do on all fronts, including more robust inspection stations, including more public awareness. Not only need the public aware that it's a legal requirement to stop, but we need their buy-in and their understanding that these issues will impact everybody. And zebra mussels can wreck boats, so motorists have a lot to lose if we do kind of lose the game with zebra and quagga mussels.
And it's important. I mean, I think some anglers think, oh, well, we're being targeted, but it's not. I mean,
No.
it's anything that floats on
Yes.
a water body in Alberta must go through a clean drain dry before you take it out of one lake, go to a river, come out of the river, go to another lake, right?
Absolutely. And that's because, obviously, so we don't yet have zebra and quagga mussels present in Alberta. We would love to stay that way, and we're really working hard to maintain that. But there are things in Alberta that we're trying to stop from moving around, like whirling disease, for example. And certainly nobody is being targeted, but I think it's the users of these water bodies that and the recreationalists that are arguably have the most to lose here, because when we introduce something like whirling disease into a population, we're never going to be able to get it out, and is going to have potentially irreversible impacts on the fish species there.
This might be a difficult question for you to answer, Megan, but from I guess a people perspective, we can put all the defenses in place and do the inspections, but what we can't do is prevent a bird or some other
Yeah.
critter coming from an infected area with, I don't know, maybe they have a zebra mussel on a fish or something that gets dropped into our water bodies. I guess that's the big unknown, isn't it?
Yeah, so there are other pathways other than overland transported boats and people's gear, right? And so, what you're talking about is a potential pathway. There's also did you recall that moss ball scare we had a couple years back? So those are aquarium plants that are really cute and sold in pet stores that you put in your fish tank. Well, we found out that those were being distributed across North America and they were infested with zebra mussels. So all it would have taken would have been somebody to dump their fish tank and the contents, and then we could have had a zebra mussel infestation. Now, I think the what we need to do to address that is education and awareness, but also detection. We need increased surveillance detection methods, because if we do catch an infestation early enough, we might be able to get a handle on it to eradicate it. The Alberta government initiative led by Nicole Kimmel, our provincial aquatic invasive species specialist, recently registered potash as a molluscicide for use to kill mussels. So we can't use that, obviously can't put potash in every water body in every circumstance, but it is a tool in the toolbox that we have now that we can use in some circumstances. And really, if we can't prevent invasive species from establishing, because inevitably they'll come in, what we need to do is take that early detection and rapid response approach. So we really do need to increase our detection efforts and do a lot more there and be ready with a response. So we need all kind of the pieces of the puzzle to be in place and to be and to be ready. Yeah.
Yeah, so you to the best of your knowledge, Megan, potash, um, it it does it eradicate everything in a water body, or is it just targeted for mussels?
Mussels. So it will harm native mussels as well. So that's my understanding is that it's a molluscicide. So it's just the mussels that are in the system. And so there are like requirements and rules around when and where it can be used to mitigate those impacts. Because potash is like high in, nutrients and stuff. It's going to mess with the water, right? Like we have to have certain circumstances. But yeah, so it will have, potential impacts. But I guess speaking to control methods, there was the Idaho infestation that was detected just this last year, the first detection in Idaho. That was a major loss of ground in North America because we have this little kind of pocket in the northwestern portion of Canada and the States that doesn't have zebra quagga mussels. A detection in the Snake River, huge river down in Idaho. They found a single live adult zebra mussel, and what they went in was they controlled and kind of poisoned 5 kilometers of the Snake River with a lot of non-target death and destruction and kills in order to make sure that they got rid of those zebra and quagga mussels. So what they had to do there was terrible, right? But the alternative was potentially quite a bit worse. So prevention is we really want to prevent them, but we need to be ready in the event that we do find a detection.
I do know it's early days yet, but as I indicated off the top, you and a number of other individuals and groups have been named to a task force. At this point, can you give us a brief overview of what your expectations are about participating?
So yeah, we don't have a lot of information yet, but we do know that this initiative is part of an effort to increase our prevention, detection, and education programs. So it's really kind of focusing on all the pieces of the pie to do better or to make sure we're doing the best that we can to prevent these things from being introduced, right? So as far as I can see, this is a step in the right direction. The province also announced this year $2.5 million investment in aquatic invasive species programming, which was needed because this programs were scaled back a couple of years ago, right? So I don't remember what year it was, but basically they're looking at bringing the inspection station levels to where they were functioning a few years back and when they were initiated. So this year we're going to have 8 inspection stations. This is of course through the province, so 7 stationary and 1 roving. And they're also investing in more conservation canine teams, and those mussel sniffing dogs are, really effective at sniffing out the microscopic, eggs and larvae and getting into places where we can't see with our eyes. So again, investments in these programs, this is all good news. These are good things.
Well, it's always sometimes scary to talk to folks like you, Megan. Just given the fact that you're dealing with such, dire situations from an environmental perspective. But we're certainly happy you're on the ground, and we'll check in with you perhaps later in the year just to see how the season's gone. And let's keep those borders strong, keep those muscles out. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.